I've personally helped e-commerce brands generate over $4.3 million with paid ads over the years, not including the copywriting, ghostwriting, and other projects I've been a part of that have helped personal brands generate hundreds of thousands of dollars as well. For all of these years, I was focused on building their brands and not my own. But being in this industry has shown me firsthand how detrimental it is if you do not build a brand for yourself. And I find it really interesting because I have enough IRL connections and work in my belt that could probably take me very far if I don't post a single thing on the internet. But in today's world, that is simply not enough. Or maybe it is enough, but you are definitely leaving a lot on the table if you do not build a brand on the internet for yourself. I'm Danae. I help women get paid by deprogramming you from the noise so you can go out there and build a life that actually feels like yours. Listen, in this world, if you can solve a problem, own your voice, and show up online accordingly, you do not need a traditional job. And solving a problem is actually much easier than you think. Think of the big entertainers or YouTubers out there. The problem they're solving is simply entertaining you, the viewers. But of course, there are more practical ways of solving problems, like me, a direct response marketer, helping businesses solve bottlenecks or help scale their business so they can maybe potentially sell it or just get their product out there to the right people. And no, doing this is not more risky than a traditional job. We are not in the 1950s. If you cannot see how much the world has changed and how the opportunities presented in front of us, while they might not make sense right now, is proving a shift in the way that we live and earn, I don't know what to say. But likely if you're watching this, I know you have a little bit of faith of what is possible without making money in a simple traditional way. I find it so interesting when people are so adamant that the traditional paths are not just as risky as doing literally anything else, any other thing online that you could do today to make money. Because a lot of people are fiending for the passive income. They're trying to find ways to make money where they're not trading their time for money, which at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you're always trading a bit of time for money, but that's a discussion for another day. The point is, the best form of passive income is building a brand that works for you and will continue to compound over time. This is actually compounding that is greater than money, because what you're building is a body of work. You're building proof of how you think, how you sell, how you live, what you believe, what you don't believe. You're building a tribe. You're showing your influence with your personality as the driving force, and emphasis on that. Because if that wasn't the case, we wouldn't have hundreds of thousands of people talking about the same things, self-improvement, wellness, business, doing all the things. There wouldn't be a range of different people talking about the same things. We buy into people, we buy into brands, we buy into products because of their personality, the unique vibe that they bring to the table, whether it's a person or a product. I know that my future isn't in some job on a resume or some future job security. I know that my future is in the personal brand that I build around my unique identity, monetizing both my hard skills, my soft skills, and the things that I've gone through that have made me. And I can do this without putting all of my business and information on the internet too. And this is the argument that I want to make today for you too. After graduating from university with a journalism degree, I couldn't get a job, so I decided to go out. I ended up building a multi-six-figure freelance business in 2 years. I have a freelancing playlist that you can sift through that's linked below, and a course in the description that walks you through how you can start the process of building a freelance business if that's something that you want to do as well. What I really want to dive into is how this is the most high leverage time in history. We have AI tools that are literally replacing full departments in corporate companies, global platforms that allow you to sell a skill to anyone or post online and get thousands of people to see it, relate to you, invest in you, businesses that will put ads on that because it's beneficial for them, free education that used to cost us thousands at our fingertips. Literally, we don't even have to walk and go to a library to read. We can just get ChatGPT to read it out loud to us. Social media that allows us to build authority without any permission, without any credentials. It's good and bad, but it exists, right? We have never had this much access. We have never had this much clarity, yet we still have two groups of people. We have people who are like, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to wait to figure out if that's really going to work for me or if this is going to have longevity or whatever. And I'm just going to watch other people build and just be a consumer for now. And then we have another group of people who are like, wait, I want to take part of this. I want to build something. I want to be a part of this new era that we're in, this new shift in society. I'm personally the latter, and I'm here to encourage people to think bigger, to open their eyes and give themselves a chance to see, to fail, or to freaking win. When I started freelancing, I just wanted a way to make income, myself, without the middleman, and from anywhere, doing things and working with people that I actually like. So it gave me the basic understanding of learning how to package a skill, learning how to pitch, learning how to sell my services, sell myself, what branding meant, what people actually needed or businesses actually needed. It taught me how to move and operate like a business, because as a freelancer, you are the business and it grows with you. So it was a path to self-development, but it didn't just stop at freelancing, because that gave me, one, the freedom, but also the money to invest in other things. That's why I built Sheep Freelances, why I've started posting YouTube videos, just a range of things that I don't think I would even have the capacity or creativity to do if I didn't give myself the opportunity to build something for myself from the start with all of the access and leverage that we have today. But what I think about what actually got me clients, if you watch the course that I mentioned in the description, I have a Notion document which will allow you to go very into depth about what I'm about to share right now. But what I didn't realize when I was out in the freelance world and trying to get clients was that trying to copy other people's personality or even their offerings or the way that they presented themselves was only stopping me from finding people who wanted me. There's a jillion copywriters, there's a jillion people out there who likely are doing the thing that you might want to do to make money. But what separates you is your unique personality. For me, I've always been a sort of spicy, punchy copywriter who really liked to toe the lines, right? You can see that, for example, with my YouTube titles. This is something that it even took me a while to lean into. You can see loads and loads of videos of just basic, regular titles. And then I realized, why am I not showing forth my identity in my titles? Nobody knows who I really am. Nobody can really connect with me if I don't do that. That's the same way that I monetize my personality and building my freelance business. I realized that if I wanted to attract the clients that had the brands, that wanted to be spicier or to have this edge to them and utilize my skills and the way I think about copy and marketing, I had to show that through my branding. But my branding is really, at the end of the day, just my personality. It's like the edge, the ease, the effortlessness. There's people who are more fluffy, who are more intellectual. Because of that, their skills as a copywriter might not work in the e-commerce space, or their skills as a video editor might not work with a personal brand or an influencer. Your skills might be best suited for a different industry, the medical industry or education or science or whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? Once you unpack the things that make you uniquely, you can look at the world and see different opportunities or buckets that you might be able to throw a ball in and see if it goes through. What held me back for a long time from showing my personality and separating myself was the fact that I was a very data-driven marketer. Like, I built up this kind of rigid identity that this is what you have to do to be seen, to be heard, to succeed, because you're given all these rules when you're in the learning process. But sooner or later, you realize that really the bold brands, the people out there who create something that people literally cannot ignore, are people who break the rules. And actually, what's interesting is that the more you are confident in the rules, you really understand them, the easier it is for you to break them in a strategic way, if that makes sense. So this is how you want to approach monetizing your personality, whether you want to be a creator or a freelancer or anything. It's invest in understanding the algorithms, invest in understanding where the money is moving in the marketplace that you're interested in, for example. So if it's the creator economy, or if it's in the e-commerce industry, or whatever industry it is, it doesn't matter. This is for anybody. Understand the game, understand where the money is moving, understand the rules, but then know that your job is to break them strategically to create something undeniable that people cannot ignore. So I held on to that. And I also held on to this idea that I would be cringe. I was scared of what people thought. And really, it's the most embarrassing, like, laggy part in the process, because who cares? Who cares? You're worried about people who, at the end of the day, don't want to live the life you want, don't matter to you. And to be honest, I found that the periods in my life where I was most afraid of being cringe were periods where I was most critical of other people, therefore I was critical of myself. I actually just became a better person and less critical of people and less judgmental. And that made me less fearful of being cringe. Because at the end of the day, you start to respect people who put themselves out there and build something for themselves or do something that you might not have done or might not have thought of, right? So the first step is to let your personality show forth, or you can say design a vibe, an unrecognizable vibe. If you're presenting a service, if you're making a video, you're doing something, whatever it is, make sure it's unmistakably you. Because we have so much access, it's going to be very easy to get lost. But if you create an unrecognizable vibe, you stand out and people can't not look, right? Then you want to turn your perspective into your IP, your intellectual property, right? This is how I see things. So I create a framework around it. If you're passionate about something, I hate when brands do this. So I'm going to show up as a copywriter like this. This is what I believe, and this is my framework. And then you present that when you're posting content to get clients, or if you're a creator, you present your perspective, or you create a tension for your audience to buy into with you, or they already believe it and they're like, yes, I believe this too. And you create a framework or wording or a drive around that. Your lens is what is most valuable. The way I see the world and my unique perspective of it, because I never worked a corporate job, or because I started freelancing, or because I moved across the world, or because I'm adopted and I had a lot of time to sit and stare and read and whatever. This is my unique lens. So everything I share is from this unique lens. And that is why you're interested and you're watching. And it's the same thing that you can do, because I cannot share the lens that you have because I don't have your lens. I don't see the world through the eyes and through the little things that you've discovered over time. And you can use this lens in everything. So as a freelancer, I personally hated seeing bland copy. That's normal though. There's a lot of people who like bold copy and will search out an agency or freelancer who writes copy. So how do I take it another layer? I find brands that are in industries that I deeply understand or have a lot of knowledge on. In the wellness industry, for example, a lot of the brands I work with are female founded natural brands that I would buy into anyways. That adds another layer of my unique lens. Then they're usually targeted towards Gen Z. I'm a Gen Z. That's another layer. So it's like I created this, and then all of a sudden I have this niche set of founders who are dying to work with me because they feel like they can relate to me, or they feel like my vibe, everything, the 2 points I've covered so far match theirs. That's how you stand out and monetize your personality. Yes, I learned the skill, but what they're buying into is not just a skill. They're buying into this extra layer. So package your way of thinking into frameworks, into stories, into ways of selling, into the look, the clothes that I wear, the jewelry that I wear, the hairstyles I have when I'm filming these videos. All of it is the IP. And it doesn't matter what you're selling, whether it's candles, whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's high-level consulting. You can do this no matter what. And lastly, if it has not been clear already, you need to be the face and you need to put yourself out there. People need so many touch points now because there's distrust, because we all have access. So obviously there's scammers, there's people out there who don't provide. So there's people who make YouTube videos and the videos are poor. And then you feel like you waste your time. So you become more intentional with the videos that you might click on, for example. We know there's a lot of freelancers out there who might say they're good at what they do and then you work with them and they're not good. There's a lot of mistrust and weird things out there. So you need to create more touch points for people to understand you, for people to see your unique vibe and to understand your IP. Are you with me still? So if you want people to see the 2 points, they need a lot of touch points, whether that's posting videos, whether that's writing, in whatever way you're best suited for. So I started posting TikToks because I knew that I was pretty good at speaking on camera and I didn't have the money to pay an editor like I do now for YouTube, for example. So I would edit the videos myself. But I also wrote newsletters and I had Substack posts at the time because I knew that I was also good at writing. But your situation might be different. You might be very good at writing tweets, writing short stories on Twitter, or writing notes on Substack, or you might be well suited to edit amazing artistic YouTube videos and you don't need an editor. You have the time and the skill set. Find your unique advantage or what's going to be most efficient for you and put yourself out there as many times as you possibly can so you create as many touch points as possible. People need several touch points over a long period of time, and that's why the personal brand compounding for you over time can be so beneficial, because it's not only compounding in potential monetary gain, it's compounding in people understanding you and creating their own storylines about you, your vibe. Narrate your process and create a brand and body of work that will work for you while you're not working. I know this is generic and corny to say, but you are the niche, literally. That's what this video is essentially saying, but I wanted to break it down in a way that hopefully allows you to see it and consensualize it differently. And again, it doesn't matter what you do. It just matters that you hit these 3 points. If you have the personality and the vibe and you create the frameworks and the IP, but you don't put yourself out there, you will not monetize your personality and build this life that you want. If you post online and you put yourself out there, but you do not have the unique vibe or do not create the IP, then people will not resonate with it. You see, all 3 of them matter and you need to do them continuously over a long period of time. If you do this, you will achieve what you want. And long term, it will be an insurance plan for you, like we discussed in the beginning of the video. You will learn more and build more momentum in 3 months of action doing all of the 3 things that I said than you would in 3 years of thinking or planning it out. Just start, see what sort of feedback you get. Maybe it's none, then you know you can try something different. And if nobody's seen it, then that's great. So you can just keep doing it. Take action, see the feedback people give you, iterate on it, and make sure you're hitting all three of these areas over and over again for a long period of time. I'm going to leave it here. Again, if you're interested in understanding how you could package an offer as a freelancing in the way that I just described, there's a link in the description. Otherwise, I hope I convinced you that it's time to start treating your mind and your unique personality as an asset if you want to live a life by your design and go get paid.